Hello mountain chums, me again today. Today we're doing a little Wainwright, but one with hopefully an interesting history. Starting from near Troutbeck in the north, not the one near Windermere, and we're heading up Souter Fell, which is spelt Sow-ter, but I understand it is pronounced Sooter, so that's the name we'll be going with, and we'll be taking no further questions, thank you. We're going to be heading round the base of the hill to begin with, back to Souter Fell, which is near where we started the walk up Blencathra, but instead we'll be going up the route that we came down and then head on up to the top of the hill. We've just passed over the river Glendora-Machin, which is a Brythonic derivation meaning the river valley of the pig. And apparently Mungrisedale, which is further up the valley, is a Norse word for the same thing. So we are currently in the valley of the pig, although at the moment it's predominantly sheep, I would say, and a few cows. Slightly unusually, Souterfell is surrounded on almost three sides by the river Glendora-Machin. Souter Fell is an unusual little bit of geography. It's the only sort of land bridge. There aren't many places like it in the lakes. From here you get an amazing view over to Clough Head, Great Dodd, round over to, what is that, Bleaberry Fell I think, and then Catbells, Maiden Moor. Oh, it's a stunning view. Aha, I start to see the path that heads up towards Blencathra, so that means we're not far from the route up towards Souterfell. That snake lifter is broken. I remember that from last time. Now then, I recall this being a really lovely path on the way down. Let's see what it's like on the way up. Hello sheep. Very wise in the shade. We're just coming up to the path off to the left, which is the route I took up Blencathra. Although I believe you can carry on up Souter Fell as we're about to do, and then when you get to the top, turn left, and you should join up with the path roughly where we took it up. It might be a nicer way up than the steep, gravelly path off to the left. It's always worth turning around and having a look back every now and then. The view here is stunning. You can see the Mungrisedale railway viaduct and off over to Gobarrow Fell, Place Fell, Helvellyn Range. Beautiful day. We're very nearly at the Col and we'll be turning right to head up Souter Fell. This is not too bad as a way up. It's by and large a pretty gentle gradient and gets you a nice way up with a reasonable amount of effort. Not too much, not too little. I don't think you can have too little effort, but you know what I mean. Off to the left, Blencathra just coming into view. Looking mighty in today's sun. We take the right fork here, and the path up to Souterfell is really clear. I think, on balance, I would suggest this as a better way up towards Blencathra than the one I did last time. I mean, that one's fine, but this one I think is possibly just a little bit nicer. Right, Souterfell it is. Off to the left there are Bannerdale Crags and the valley cut by River Glendormachan. So this is a very long winding river. Shouldn't be too long before we hit the top of Souterfell. There are two sort of summits, but the further one is the true summit. So obviously that's the one we're aiming for. This is the first of the two summit lumps, but we're going to head on over to the main summit, although there's a cairn over to the left which I don't think is on the map, so I'm just going to go and have a look at that first. Seems to be just a cairn with a cotton grass bouquet on the top, so I don't know. It's a good position though. We're not far from the top now. We'll just turn back and head up there. This brings us to the lower of the two summits. Oh, the beautiful song of the skylark. There you go, that's the summit of Souter Fell. 522 metres, 1,713 feet. You could do this as an extension of the walk off Blencathra, but I have to say it's not nothing. It's a Wainwright of its own, so I'd give it its fair dues. Well, since you asked me for a story of ghost armies on Souter Fell, on Midsummer's Eve in 1735, a servant of Mr. Lancaster watched a procession of soldiers, some on foot, some on horses, progress across Souter Fell. He reported his sighting but was widely abused until, 2 years later, Mr. Lancaster himself, with other members of his family, witnessed the same sight. On this occasion they noticed that the procession was 5 men deep, with mounted officers riding around to keep them in order. 10 years later, on Midsummer's Eve in 1745, no less than 26 people observed the same ghostly procession across Souter Fell. After these sightings, people came up to the fell, but there were no hoof prints or footprints or any evidence of an army. The story may go back as far as 1513, when a man called Simon Bell, travelling between Ambleside and Kendal, witnessed a long procession with a military air. Disappointingly, I see no evidence of a ghost army myself, just a couple of paragliders. From here we're going to head on towards the snout of Souterfell, and I believe that the path bends back over to the right before heading down the valley towards Mungrisedale. Come on then. So we just come over this little bit of hill. The hamlet of Mungrisedale comes into view. In his original book, Wainwright suggested coming straight out of Mungrisedale, but there isn't actually a footpath that way, certainly not a right of access. So you actually have to come up the road a little bit. Wasn't really budgeting for that. It's not bad, but just take it gently. Right, from here you can turn left and go down into Mungrisedale, to the pub, to the village, hamlet perhaps, or as I'm going to do, right, back along the road, back towards home. Well, this almost completes our loop of the road. This brings us back to the gate and we turn left and go back down towards the river Glendurramachin and then back up the hill to where we began. So the last little bit of this walk is we go through these farm buildings and then up to the road and then home. That's about it from me. Thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. If you've enjoyed this, do please like and subscribe and join us another time for another walk in the lakes. Stay safe. Now then, I recall, that's a strange way of saying it, it's always worth turning around and having a look back. I know.